Neil Orfield here, founder of the Flannelverse. If you don't know me, all you really need to know is that I'm obsessed with fantasy sports. I've been playing for decades and have won a lot of money at it, especially in DFS, where I've won the NFL Millie Maker on DraftKings. And if you take away the Millie Maker, I'd still be up hundreds of thousands of dollars with a dozen wins of $90,000 or more. In the past, I've primarily been a hand builder and optimizer user, and I still think you can win that way. But in 2025, I think that's playing on hard mode. So this year, I've upped my game. I partnered with Run the Sims, and throughout this NFL season on this channel, I plan to demonstrate how I'm going to be using Run the Sims to try to win money again this year. I hope you'll join me and that we'll win a lot of money together. If you're interested in checking out Run the Sims, you can use promo code Neil to get 10% off your first payment on any of their products. Before I run The Sims, if you haven't already done so, please do like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the NFL season and could really use your support. Without further delay, let's get into how I'm setting up Run the Sims for the NFL Week 8 main slate on FanDuel. One thing that sets Run the Sims apart from a lot of Sims products is it is very customizable, easy to customize everything at the team level or the player level. You can change the number of points you expect a team to score, the number of plays you expect them to run, the rush rate versus pass rate. You can change things at the player level, the rushing market share, receiving market share, the number percentage of the touchdown market share. All of that is customizable. And I do like to make some changes here and there. But before I make any changes, I actually like to run a sim without doing anything because I want to see what Run the Sims is going to give me naturally. So all I'm going to do is set up for the types of contests that I play. So I'm going to change the number of lineups to 10,000. Size of the contest field to the largest possible 15,000. That's going to best mimic the large field contests that I play in. Obviously, if you're playing 7,000 player field, you would do 7,000, whatever's closest to the size that you're playing in. And then number of simulations, I'm going to set to 10,000. Because I'm playing the very large field contest, I'm going to use a top heavy payout structure. Typically, the large field contests are top heavy. I'm not going to change anything in these settings down here because Run the Sims does play-by-play sims followed by contest level sims. So all of this should be accounted for. You don't need to do things like tell it to stack your quarterback. It's going to stack your quarterback exactly how much it should according to the sims. And usually that's going to mean your quarterbacks are going to be stacked, often double stacked, sometimes triple stacked. It's going to correlate because the play-by-play sims are going to show that that is what works out best over time. Those are the lineups that get to the top most often are the lineups that are correlated. But I'm not going to tell it to do that because, again, it's going to do it more precisely than I would. I'm not going to set a salary cap or a salary minimum because if a lineup gets in there that only uses, 55,000 of the salary, unlikely that's going to happen. But maybe there are some slates where a lineup that only uses 55,000 out of the 60,000 salary pops to the top frequently in the Sims. I don't want to tell it not to give me that lineup. If that is what works in the Sims, I want to allow that to happen. So I'm not going to change anything here. The only thing I will change is I'm going to use the Shady Portfolio Diversifier. This is a tool created by Shady Advice. It's an add-on product at Run the Sims. And what it does is it gives you a more diverse portfolio. So rather than just giving you, if I set it for 150, rather than just giving me the top 150 EV lineups, it's going to give me the top EV portfolio of 150 lineups. So the lineups are less likely to cannibalize each other. It's going to minimize your risk of ruin, and you're going to have a better time over time if you use the Shady Portfolio Diversifier. So I'm using it for 150 lineups here. And now I'm just going to click the SimRunner Pro button to get the Sims running. This is going to take a few minutes. I'm going to cut that out of the video. The first run of Sims are in. I can read off some of the top lineups that we got here, and then my top player exposures. In this first lineup, Kirk Cousins with Drake London, just a skinny stack there with Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Keon Coleman, Elic Ayamanor, Dalton Schultz, Jonathan Taylor, and the Cowboys defense. Then we have 4 consecutive Bo Nix lineups. The first one is Nix with Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton. Doesn't have any Cowboys bringbacks, has Bijan Robinson, Cam Scatterbu, Elic Ayamanor, Dalton Schultz, Rashad White, and Falcons defense. Then we have Bo Nix with Marvin Mims and Cortland Sutton. Again, no Cowboys bringbacks, has Bijan Robinson, Rashad White, Devontae Smith, Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goedert, and the Ravens defense. Then we've got a triple stack, Bo Nix with Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Cortland Sutton. No Cowboys bringbacks. Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, Dalton Schultz, Alvin Kamara, and the Jets defense. And finally, Bo Nix with Troy Franklin, Cortland Sutton, and Evan Ingram triple stack. No Cowboys bringbacks. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Elic Ayamanor, Rashad White, and the Falcons defense. After that string of Bo Nix lineup. We've got a Joe Flacco triple stack with Chase, Higgins, and Fant. Kirk Cousins with Darnell Mooney and Drake London, who's currently questionable, but currently is in the Sims. So pretty diverse set of lineups here at the top. Looking at my player exposures, I'll start at the quarterback position, just read off any quarterbacks I'm getting to in double digits, starting with 22% Bo Nix, 25% Kirk Cousins. Looks like those are the only two that I'm actually getting to in double digits. Double digit running backs include 37% Jonathan Taylor, 46% Bijan Robinson, 24% Christian McCaffrey, 19% Saquon Barkley, 29% James Cook, 26% Rashad White, 15% Derrick Henry, 21% Devin Achane, 12% DeAndre Swift. Wide receivers in double digits, I'm getting to 23% Devontae Smith, 23% Cortland Sutton, 22% Drake London, 15% Stephon Diggs, 13% George Pickens, 11% Jalen Waddle, 36% Elikai Minor, 12% Tedero McMillan, 16% Troy Franklin, 17% Jaden Higgins, 13% Darnell Mooney, 10% Marvin Mims. Double-digit tight ends include 37% Dalton Schultz, 17% Dallas Goedert, 17% George Kittle, 11% Kyle Pitts. And defense fairly spread out, but I'm getting to 11% Falcons, 17% Saints. Now, in the past, there have been times when I've gone through game by game and made changes across all the games. That's something I'm trying to get away from because I want to let the Sims really do their thing. I want to use the power of the Sims. And generally, unlike an optimizer where you should generally be telling an optimizer what you want, with the Sims, you can kind of let the Sims tell you what's good on this slate as long as you trust the input. So generally, I'm going to trust the inputs here. I'm not going to try to change too many things, but I still want to have, some stands. I spend a lot of time thinking about DFS, so I do want to get to some of the players that I want that maybe the Sims don't give me naturally, and I think I have a little bit of a different take on the way things might go. And I think this is a case where I've noticed a lot of Jets that I'm not getting too much of, and yeah, I think it's very live that the Jets fail in a big way here. Very clearly, we've seen them fail in great spots before, but it's also an ideal matchup against Cincinnati. So currently, I'm only getting to 2% Brees Hall. I think Brees Hall is very live to have over 100 yards and a touchdown, maybe a couple touchdowns. Obviously, that's hoping for a lot, but at 7,400, I think Brees Hall could have a big blow up game here, and I'm getting to just 2%. So I want a little bit more Brees Hall. At the same time, I want more Justin Fields, currently just getting to actually none of Justin Fields at 6,900 with a 5% projected ownership. I think this seems like a really nice spot. Not super cheap here at 6,900, but still a nice price tag on Justin Fields. And then similarly, I like Mason Taylor quite a bit, only getting to 2% Mason Taylor at 4,900 if he's active. And both Mason Taylor and Brees Hall currently questionable. So obviously something I need to keep an eye on. But if they're both active, I'm going to like all of those three quite a bit, maybe even a little bit of Alan Lazard. So I think I'm going to make some changes to, I'm getting a 2% Alan Lazard currently at 4,800. That's going to be something I focus on here is I am going to just see what happens if I project the Jets a little bit better than they are currently. And then the only other change that I kind of want to make stand I want to take is J.K. Dobbins is somebody that I really like this week. He is 7,000 on FanDuel in an ideal matchup with the Cowboys. I think he could run quite a bit. I'm already getting to 9% though at a 6% projected ownership. So I am over the field on J.K. Dobbins already. So I probably don't need to do much with the J.K. Dobbins, but maybe I'll adjust him just slightly to get even a little bit more than I am currently. So those are the only changes I'm going to make to the settings, and then I'll run the Sims one more time. So again, with how much I like lots of different Jets, being Justin Fields, Brees Hall, Mason Taylor, even Alan Lazard to an extent, I'm just going to change the number of points they're going to score and the number of plays they're going to run at the top here. And that might be the only change I make. So I'm going to change them to 19 points to 21, and from pace of 58.6 plays, I'm going to change that to 62 and just see what happens. If I just make those changes, will I get to a lot more of Justin Fields, Brees Hall, Mason Taylor? Because I'm, saying that the whole team is going to score more points should affect all of them positively. So I'm just going to make those changes to the Jets, increase their points and their number of plays slightly. And then I'm going to go in and make some changes, very slight, to J.K. Dobbins as well. I am just going to increase J.K. Dobbins' share of the rushing rate. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to click the smart adjust. So this is going to proportionally change. When I change the market share, it'll also change the touchdown market share. I'm going to leave RJ Harvey as is, I think, and just change Adam Prentice and Tyler Bidet, I'm just going to give both of them projections of 0 market share and then give that to J.K. Dobbins to move him up to 57%. Similarly, in the receiving market share, I'm going to remove Tyler Bidet's 3% and Adam Prentice. I'm going to give that to J.K. Dobbins as well. So I'm going to move him up to a 6% receiving market share and normalize everything. Those are the only changes I'm going to make. And then I'm just going to rerun the sims with those changes, see if that's enough to get done what I'm trying to accomplish of getting a bit more of the Jets that I like and then a bit more of J.K. Dobbins. So I'm going to click the Sim Runner Pro button to get the sims going again. All right, the second run of sims are in. I'll just read off the top couple lineups and then take a look at my exposures. Top lineup, Kirk Cousins with Bijan Robinson, Drake London. Does not have any bringbacks. Does have Christian McCaffrey, Devonta Smith, Xavier Legette, Dalton Schultz, J.K. Dobbins, and the Saints defense. So good to see J.K. Dobbins makes it into the top lineup. Second lineup, Kirk Cousins with Darnell Mooney. Drake London doesn't have any bringbacks from the Dolphins, has James Cook, Rashad White, Eli Manor, George Kittle, Jonathan Taylor, and the Cowboys defense. Looking at my top exposures, we'll start at quarterback. I'm at 18% Bo Nix, 27% Kirk Cousins. Those are the only two in double digits. Let me take a look at my Justin Fields exposure. I'm up to 5% Fields, so just about with the field. So it worked a little bit to get more Fields by adjusting the Jets. I think I still would like more, so I might make further adjustments to my Jets. At running back, getting to 39% Jonathan Taylor, 43% Bijan Robinson, 15% Christian McCaffrey, 26% James Cook, 13% Saquon Barkley, 28% Rashad White, 13% Derrick Henry, 13% Devin Achane, 29% J.K. Dobbins now. So I adjusted that just a little bit, but I guess I gave him more of the receiving workload as well. So, small adjustment, got to way more J.K. Dobbins. 13% Breece Hall. That's up quite a bit from where it was before. Also, 11% DeAndre Swift, 11% Alvin Kamara. So generally, I would say the changes worked here on Breece Hall and J.K. Dobbins, maybe more than I needed to move the J.K. Dobbins number. So maybe I'd adjust those back slightly. I don't know that I need 29%, but it is good to see that it is, getting me close to where I'd like to be. Overkill a little bit here, but I'm glad that I'm well over the field on J.K. Dobbins and moved up significantly what I had at Breece Hall. So that's good to see as well. Wide receivers in double digits, 31% Devonta Smith, 11% Jamar Chase, 23% Cortland Sutton, 18% Drake London, 17% George Pickens, 16% Stephon Diggs, 36% Eli Manor, 15% Troy Franklin, 13% Jaden Higgins, 19% Darnell Mooney. As far as the Jets go, I got to 2.7% Allen Lazard, so only slightly more than I got in the last run. And at tight end, I'm getting to 30% Dalton Schultz, 15% Dallas Goedert, 10% George Kittle, 17% Kyle Pitts. And then Mason Taylor, I did get a bit more here, 9% Mason Taylor now at 7% projected ownership. So the changes I made worked pretty well. I moved up the number of points you expect the Jets to score, the number of plays you expect them to run, and as expected, I got to more Jets across the board of the ones that I was already getting to. Now, I could adjust further if I want to get even more of Justin Fields or Mason Taylor, Allen Lazard, whatever. I can change things again at the team level to get a little bit more of all of them. Or if I just think, I'm happy with the amount of Mason Taylor I'm getting now, but I still want a little bit more Allen Lazard, I can go adjust things within the individual players to give Allen Lazard more of the receiving work. Those are the kinds of things that I might do. I might adjust them a little bit further. I might want a little bit more Justin Fields also. So maybe I do increase the pass rate. But there's a number of things you can do to adjust and get more of the players you want. And I think that's something I might do with the Jets here. And then as far as J.K. Dobbins, I changed things pretty significantly. I gave him a couple more percentage of the rushing workload, and then I also moved up his receiving workload 3%. And that combination, I didn't think it was going to change things as drastically as I did, but it did change the numbers that I had on J.K. Dobbins pretty drastically, especially with how many points we're expecting the Broncos to score. So a slight change on a team like the Broncos with a high total makes a bigger difference than if you make a slight change on like the Jets with a total of 19. So that's something to keep in mind, something I might need to adjust back lower on my Dobbins projection slightly if I don't want to get as much as I'm getting right now, which I think it's a little bit much how much I'm getting now of Dobbins. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you haven't already done so, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit that little notification bell if you want to get notifications when I go live. Look for me tonight, Sunday Night Football. I'll be doing a Sunday Night Football breakdown 85 minutes prior to lock, 80 to 85 minutes prior to lock on Sundays. We'll start that up after inactives come up go right up until lock. I'll be running the Sims again on the show prior to Sunday night before that showdown slate. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody, and good luck on Sunday.